Welcome back, everybody, to another installment. I think this is actually episode 67. I said that the other day, episode 67, and it ended up being episode 65. I think. I actually can't. I really cannot remember. But if you listen to this every day, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, good morning. How is everybody? Again, coming in a bit later than I normally do, but significantly earlier than yesterday's one. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling much better than I did yesterday. Still processing everything, obviously, but we're just vibing out. I don't really have a topic to talk about today. Yesterday was pride, ego, and humility. I think no, I don't have anything. I'm like just drawing a blank. I'll tell you some stories. Actually, I got some more stories about my childhood. I went to a primary school that was right across the road from where my mum worked, and she worked at a hospital in Canberra, and I went to the primary school across the road, the Garran Primary School, whatever it is. It may have changed its name by now, whatever, but it was a big school, and because we lived on the other side of town, we lived all the way over in like Gordon Lanyon way, so it was like about a 45-minute, maybe 50-minute drive, especially in traffic. It'd take just over an hour to get to and from. Generally, we'd leave sort of like late enough in the morning that the traffic had all sort of stopped, but at night we would be still stuck in traffic. Mum would also try and like push it out as late as possible. So we were part of the after school care program. So we'd rock up to school in like the nick of time for it to start, and then we would go after school to the after school care program, which is just basically like where kids who have parents who work late have to stay. And they get looked after. It's like 3 till 6 usually. It's like from when school finishes till about 6 p.m. Anyway, we in primary school there was a girl that I want to say I was infatuated with. I don't think I was old enough to be horny yet. But she was like one of my best friends, and arguably one of the more attractive girls in the school. And she was one of the girls that I hung out with like every day at lunch, whatever. And we had this like weird faux relationship, like a relationship, but faux, like FAUX, false faux relationship. Anyway, we like, I want to say on and off dated, but it was like, you know, that boyish, girlish thing where it's like not willing to admit we like each other because ew, that's gross, but also not wanting to entertain the idea of other people being involved in that conversation, if that makes sense. Anyway, one day we're sitting in class, I think it was maybe year 5, and she asked to go to get a drink. And so the year 5s all had school on the second floor and not on the ground floor. And so she had to go downstairs. And as you get downstairs, you get outside to go to the bubblers or the drinking taps. And you know, like those big troughs where it's got like 4 little sort of, like you push down the little lever and then the drink tap spurts out water and you can like drink on it. And the kids would used to like, if you were drinking and your mates were drinking or whatever, you'd go and you'd like put your finger on it and it'd spray them, or some kids would like shove sticks down there so they would spray. Anyway, to access the specific drinking tap she wanted to access, there was like a 3-step platform. So there was like a platform to enter the school. I want to say the school was like up on stilts, but it like just had like a heavy sort of, I guess, just a base, right? Is what you call it, just a big concrete base that then had like concrete platform, and the platform would like allow you to walk along to go to like the toilets, which were connected to the school, but then you could like step down onto the basketball court or the grassed area. It wasn't grassed area. It was like a sort of, anyway, you get what I'm saying. It's like 3 or 4 steps down. So it's probably half a meter, you know, 60, 70 centimeters off the ground. Like it's high enough that like you can jump off it. and because it's like right next to the drinking taps, the bubblers, you can there's no rail on the side, so you can just jump straight off the platform onto the ground to the drinking taps rather than having to go down the stairs and go around it, which would have taken a little bit longer, but whatever. Anyway, she was gone for, I don't know, like 10 minutes. It was quite a long time for someone who's just getting a drink. So you're sitting in class, you're like, ooh, her name was Jamie. Ooh, Jamie's been gone for so long. And I was sitting next to her at the same table, I think next to her, and she comes back and she looks distraught, like she'd seen a ghost. And I was like, what the hell? And I remember asking, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I was like, okay. And so I'm thinking like, maybe a creepy guy had come to this school. Maybe she got in trouble. Maybe, you know what I mean? And then, so I left it for a little bit. And then when the teacher stopped talking and when we were able to get to our classwork, I remember asking like, are you okay? Like, what, you should go see something. Like, you should talk to someone. You need to talk to the teacher. And she just goes, I killed a bird. Oh, I can't stop laughing. I killed a bird. And I was like, wait, what? You just went outside and killed a bird. She was like, I didn't mean to. I killed a bird. So anyway, Jamie wasn't like a big girl, but she was definitely like, we were coming into like adolescence. So she would have been maybe 11 turning 12 or whatever. And in that time, when kids put on size before they have a growth spurt, it was like that sort of thing. So she was a dancer, she was active, she did all these things, but I guess she was just about to hit a growth spurt. And she's probably like my height now, like 6'3", right? So she was just, anyway, I feel like that's relevant to the story because what happened was she went outside and she jumped down this platform to the bubblers and she landed on an Indian miner. She's landed on a fucking bird, squashed it, dead. Like just going about her day. I just imagine, going about your day, jumping on a fucking bird and killing it. And just like, how do you recover from that? You know what I mean? How do you go about the rest of your day knowing that you landed on and squashed and killed an innocent bird? Like, that bird did nothing to you. It probably didn't even realize that she was there. Like, it had no clue she was coming until she fucking landed on her. I suppose it's like a quick and painless way to die, right? Like, if I'm gonna die, something falling on me and crushing me and killing me instantly is probably not the worst way to go, right? Like, if it hits my head first, at least I'm knocked unconscious before it squashes me, But but it's just probably one of the funniest stories that I think I've ever. I think it's one of the funniest fucking stories I think I've ever heard or remembered. She killed a bird just by falling on it, jumping on it. She jumped on it. It wasn't even falling. She jumped. She jumped and got a little bit of airtime. Hang 10 off the platform, and then just squashed a bird. Look, death isn't funny and killing animals isn't funny, but I feel like that's the most dramatic accident that could have happened. Like, of all the things that could have been told to me that day, I would never have expected that. I got another story actually, because accidental damage is what I'm going to call that. One time when I was in maybe year 3, I remember we had one of those like pencil sharpeners, electric pencil sharpeners, where you could get up and you could sharpen your pencil. And I would get up every class and I would try and sharpen my pencil to the absolute sharpest I could get it. Like, it had to be pointy. And we had a teacher. I can't even remember her name. But there was another occasion. I'm actually going to explain both of these occasions. But one time we're in class. I'm sharpening my pencil. It is like needle sharp, like needle point sharp. And this teacher was like, she was a heavy set girl. And this is also important because she was wearing denim jeans and they filled out. Like, she had a big booty. I remember this because when your like teacher comes over and they like lean over your desk and their boobs are just hanging on your fucking shoulder, or their ass is in your face when they're at the desk behind you, and then all the boys are like, look at you fucking got the teacher's ass or tits in your face. Anyway, what happened was I'm like sitting there and she's explaining something. I think it might have been math, maybe science. I don't know. I was fucking young. And I had my pencil in my hand with the pointy end out. And I was like sort of leaning up against my chair and I was like pushing the back of it into the chair. Anyway, she comes over and as she's explaining something, one of the kids behind me had asked a question and she comes over and she bends over into my pencil. And so my pencil is caught between my chair and her ass. And she fucking yelps and she gets back up and she's angry and like, all sorts of things. Anyway, she got this idea that I did it on purpose. So I actually ended up getting in a lot of trouble for that. I didn't do it on purpose. Why the fuck would I stab a teacher in the ass with a pencil? But what had happened was the pencil had actually pierced through the jeans into her skin and the lead had snapped off. And so she actually had to go to like the medical bay after class and get it removed with tweezers. Not funny, accidental damage, but it is so fucking funny to recall now. At the time I got in trouble. Anyway, later on, there was this kid, I'm pretty sure his name was Jackson, and he was like one of the first cases of autism. Not really, but like, when you're a kid, you don't know what something is, and then you look back on it and you're like, oh, that must have been what it is. This kid, we had like an integrated specialist school, so all of the disabled or less abled kids would be in the portable classrooms sort of adjacent to the school. And then they would be able to have lunch at the same time we did and everything like that. And so, we got to know them pretty well. There was twins called Blake and something else. And they used to they were the kids that we knew when they go to the bathroom, they'd go together and they'd like pull their pants all the way down to their ankles just to pee in the trough. Like that sort of weird shit. Weird at the time. I understand it now because they didn't know any better, but like, that sort of weird shit when we were kids. Anyway, this kid is holding this teacher's hand, the teacher that I stabbed in the ass a few weeks before, and he walks over to me and he says, he did it. And I was sitting there and I was like, I did what? And then the teacher, sort of sternly says to me, did you steal his grapes? And I was like, no. She was like, are you sure? I was like, why? I don't like grapes. Why would I steal his grapes? And then I noticed that this kid, because he was wearing it was like a hot summer's day. We all had to wear hats outside. And he was wearing boots and shorts, like pull-up boots, not even like tie-up boots, like pull over your foot, like cowboy boots. Not quite cowboy, but you know what I mean. And workman boots. And he goes, yeah, he stole my grapes. And I noticed that he was holding a Ziploc bag full of grapes. And I was like, I didn't touch your grapes. You've got them. Anyway, this kid sort of was like just angry, throwing a tantrum, whatever, saying that I stole his grapes. So she calmed him down and then sent him on his way. And then she pulled me aside. She said, I better not catch you stealing anybody's grapes. I was like, I didn't. Like I don't have any reason to steal his grapes. Why would I steal this, at the time, this disabled kid's grapes? Like I was trying to plead with her. But she had a vendetta against me because I stabbed her in the ass with a pencil that, was less, it probably wasn't fun for her. And so, yeah, so that's 3 stories that you got today that I only remembered the first one, jumping on a fucking bird. It's so good. So good. You can't write that. You couldn't make it up. You know what I mean? I mean, you could, but like, it's the sort of thing that you expect in like a comedy, like a sitcom TV show or something. It's like, oh my God, I just jumped on a fucking bird, accidentally killed it. Like you see it as a joke. Oh, fuck. Anyway, and then there was a time I stabbed the teacher in the ass with a pencil accidentally, but she took it out on me. And then the time that I got accused of stealing the disabled kid's grapes while he had the grapes in his hand. So yeah, do with those stories what you will. Laugh at them, cringe at them, write to your mum and tell her that Mincho on the internet is mean. I don't know. I don't care. But I'm feeling better today and those stories are funny. Enjoy your day. Thank you for listening. Share this if you enjoyed it and you think other people would.